I'm Kiyan.
And this is Trust Your Doctor, that podcast with an insanely huge explosion budget.
None of which you'll be seeing. You'll only hear us die.
You'll just randomly hear explosions, and then miraculously we'll just keep talking to you, because apparently the explosions weren't right next to us, like they were in the episode. But anyway, we should start with some news, which we usually start with if we have news, which we do for once.
Yay. So we have decided to put out an introduction episode to let people know what the podcast is all about.
Yeah, that'll be going out at some point this week. It'll be called Episode 0.
Right, and we're also going to have a video version of that. It's going to go, I guess it's going to go up on YouTube, suppose.
It's going to go up on Daily Motion.
I mean, hey, why not? We could.
No, it'll go up on YouTube.
Right.
The same day it goes out on iTunes.
Right, we'll have a channel up, most likely called Trust Your Doctor. We haven't planned that out yet. Probably shouldn't be telling you that we haven't planned it out yet, but we haven't.
But it will be planned out soon, once we've recorded the intro episode, which we will do very, very soon, probably after this episode. Right,
and I don't know, maybe this is just me, but whenever I listen to like podcasts or anything, I never want to see who it is I'm listening to. Like, it kind of just ruins it for me if I see what they look like. So obviously, if you watch the episode, you'll see what we look like, and if you're like me, you probably won't want to do that. So, yeah.
Well, some people will, I guess, to put a face to the name. I don't know, for some people it's kind of interesting to go, hey, you know, I thought they looked way different from their voice, and then to see us and be like, whoa.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. And then we have a second bit of news, which is this season, we've been looking ahead. There is an 8-episode serial and a 10-episode serial.
Right, and due to time conflicts and other things going on, we're probably not going to want to watch that many episodes in a week. So we're going to be splitting those episodes up, kind of like we did for the Daleks Master Plan. Mm-hmm. So both of those will be split up into 2 episodes. And but we're also going to release spliced together versions.
Yeah, basically a supercut of the 2 episodes into one. I guess partially because maybe some people want to listen to it as 1 episode rather than 2. Maybe you don't and you want to listen to the 2-episode version. That's fine. The 1-episode version will go out the same week as the 2nd episode of the 2-episode version. Right. And I guess to anticipate that, I've been super cutting together the 2 Dalek Master Plan episodes along with the Mission to the Unknown episode into one massive hour-and-a-half long super episode, and that's going to go out this week for whoever is curious to see what kind of the format's going to be and how it's going to work and if they like it or not.
Yep.
If you have any opinions on that, you should email us.
Yeah, that's the end of this episode. No.
No. We actually need to summarize the Dominators now.
Right, season 6. Yeah.
Begins on a pretty strong note, in my opinion.
Yeah, this serial was I don't know, was solid. It wasn't the most interesting thing ever. And I think, I mean, there obviously have been much more interesting and serials.
Yeah.
I don't remember the word I'm looking for. Yeah, but anyway, it starts off with, how does it start? Well, hold on, let me get out my notes.
Oh yeah, my notes are buried under these other pages. Just put this over here.
Probably should have done this before.
Okay.
But we didn't.
So, it begins with a spaceship landing. The Doctor doesn't actually show up till 5 minutes through.
It was more like 10 minutes, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, 8 minutes. Yeah, I wrote down the exact time. Yeah, it was 8 minutes.
All right, yeah.
Which was interesting.
So it starts off with, like you said, the spaceship. And from the there's like 4 people, I think, on the spaceship. And you can tell through the dialogue they're sort of like traveling or like they're vacationing or something. Or they're going somewhere for fun. And
that's what you think, at least.
and then that other dark stuff happens. But no, they mentioned the radiation. They're going to an island. We'll just put that out there now. 'Cause it's what's going on. And there's supposedly radiation there. And once they get there, the navigator guy's like, well, don't step out or you might die. And they're like, yeah, we'll just step out anyway. He's like, okay, well, don't come crying to me when you die.
When you're dead.
So they go out, and then he does too, for some reason, the navigator.
Yeah, I think they look at the radiation gauge, and it says there's no radiation. They're like, but there was a radiation test here. Like, what?
So they think that's pretty sketch, and it is. So they decide to go investigate, and they die.
What?
Yeah, they die.
Oh, I thought we were still talking about the Dominators. The Dominators.
Oh. No, I thought we were talking about the other people.
Well, I can see how that could be confusing. So they both land in spaceships. They both land on the island. And then they both decide to investigate by going outside.
Yeah.
Well, that's confusing.
Yeah, the Dominators definitely don't seem like they're on vacation. No, it's the other people that do. But yeah.
The
Dulcians.
Yeah, the Dulcians.
From Dulcus. That was confusing. But yeah, okay, so, wow.
Yeah, they get killed by the Dominators, if that...
Who are the other people who had the same exact introduction, except they were way more serious and intense.
And they talk about using the Dulcians as slave labor, which is where you go, whoa!
And, yeah, they mention, as early as this, they mentioned that they need fuel or power or whatever, which starts that long, sort of subtle plot line about how they're running out of power, which doesn't really get expanded upon in the end, and even in the end, it was still pretty subtle.
Except that it saves the Doctor's butt like 5 times throughout this serial.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, they kill off the other people.
They kill 3 Dulcians.
For no reason.
3, it's a party of 4, and 3 of them get killed off.
Right, and the navigator survives.
Cully.
Yeah. So then the Doctor finally shows up. He also lands on the island.
Conveniently, right? And they just kind of walk out, and he's like, yeah, projecting that image was pretty tough.
Yeah, they just gloss over the thing they set up at the end of last season. Apparently Zoe's just decided to join. They never touch upon it.
Yeah, if there was one major complaint I'd have about this serial, it would be that they didn't expand upon that whole "is Zoe gonna join the TARDIS" subplot they kind of introduced.
Yeah, which, I mean, did they just not watch the end of the last season before making this? I mean, that couldn't be, because they expand on the whole Doctor was projecting images thing, but not the main thing you'd be curious about, which is odd. I mean, obviously you know she's joined based on this serial, but
yeah,
but it still would have been nice.
Given who the writers were, they may have originally written this for Victoria, and then they may have had to rewrite it for Zoe. Possibly. And they kind of just didn't expand upon that plot because they didn't have time to write in.
They could have taken 10 seconds to put in a line about it.
Put in a line about it? They did. The Doctor went projecting those mental images was pretty tough work.
Yeah, but Zoe could have been like, I'm really glad I decided to go on dangerous adventures with you guys. Something like that, at least.
Well, it'd have to be better written than that. Nobody just says they're glad to go on dangerous missions unless you're Cully in this serial.
But yeah, they're on a beach, so I wrote that Jamie starts blowing up a beach ball.
Oh yeah, the Doctor decides it's a good time for a vacation, which I'm not opposed to.
They kind of did the same thing in the seaweed.
Enemy of the World. Fury from the Deep.
Yeah, Fury from the Deep.
Well, they did it from Enemy of the World,
yeah,
too.
Yeah, they did.
Every time they land on a beach, they have to go on vacation.
It's necessary.
Anyway.
So, yeah, they start looking around the island, and they find the Dominators have blown up... or no, they find this museum first.
Yeah.
They blow it up later. Spoiler alert.
It's been blown out already from the bomb test. that was 172
Yeah, but then
years.
they blow it up again.
They blow it up more.
So there was a bomb test 172 years ago, and there's a weapons museum on the island.
Right, that's why the island was radioactive, was because they were testing atomic bombs.
You don't find that out till later, but we're telling you now.
Right, because it's kind of integral to the plot.
Yeah. So they find some weapons, and they're like laser gun things, sort of. And I don't know, they're messing around with them, which this reminded me of this site I came across the other day. You know what, maybe I shouldn't even mention it. It's not related at all. I mean, I kind of have to now that I've already brought it up.
You could just gloss over it.
Yeah, I'll just gloss over it.
Okay. So they end up running into this guy named Balon, who has some students who have come to study the radiation. So it turns out Cully's crew was there illegally, and they were just kind of there to explore.
Yep.
So Balon tells them about the atomic bomb test 172 years before, and the Doctor's asking about the gun because apparently the Doctor's been to Dulcus before, and war and violence is outlawed on Dulcus. So he's confused, naturally.
Yeah, and I was confused how they outlawed war. Like, did someone just say, like, yup, it's illegal now? And everyone's like, oh, shoot, I guess I can't do that anymore.
Or maybe it's because their entire society is built around discussing everything before they do it.
Yeah, for like 5 hours. I guess.
It's like the Jedi Council.
Except even more...
Useless.
Yeah, I didn't want to say useless, but yeah, I guess. Yeah, we also should mention that they've taken the Doctor and Co. to some sort of base thing, I guess.
Yeah, the little educator base on the island.
Yeah.
Which also gets blown up later.
But yeah, Balon... It was Balon, right?
Balon.
Yeah, Balon.
With a B.
Yeah, I thought it was Dallin while watching it, but yeah, it's Balon. He also makes them mention someone is like, well, the radiation's gone. How does that work? And Balon's like, well, it's obvious that radiation lasts for 172 years.
And this is when you find out that Dulcian society, that's a really hard word to say. Dulcian society is built around accepting things as fact if you see them. So,
yep,
they don't believe Cully about the robots.
Or the Dominators employ robots called quarks.
Because they haven't seen them, but they believe that radiation only lasts 172 years because that's what the data suggests, so they just immediately believe it as fact. Which works out for the Doctor, because they just believe the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe are from another planet. Until Cully shows up, it's like, I lost 3 people. And they're like, hey, here's 3 people.
Yeah. So, the Doctor and Jamie decide to go look around some more, I guess. Meanwhile, Zoe and Cully decide to travel to the capital city, I guess, because Senex, who's Cully's father, is like the
world leader.
Yeah, he's like some sort of leader.
He's the head of the council, and I guess the council rules the world. We
can assume that, I guess. They're just some random council who decided they're going to pretend to be politicians. No. Yeah, they decide to do that, and apparently their travel technology is advanced enough that they can get anywhere on their planet in 8 minutes or less. And Cully was explaining this in such a product placement way that if I didn't know any better, I'd think they were advertising something. Zoe's like, we can really get there in under 8 minutes? And he's like, yup, 8 minutes or less. We can go anywhere on this entire planet with our great technology.
New from Air France. The British advertising the French airline. No. Yeah, so that's how episode 1 ends. Because Jamie and the Doctor get captured by the Dominators.
Yeah.
And then episode 2.
Episode 2 starts with the Dominators deciding they need to run intelligence tests on the Doctor and Jamie to see if the Dulcians are suitable to use as slaves, because they think the Doctor and Jamie are Dulcians, obviously. So the Doctor realizes what they're up to, thinks the Dominators might see them as threats if they're too smart. So he decides to act stupid during the tests.
Yeah.
Like there's a block test where they have to put the correct shape block in the correct shape hole, and the doctor doesn't.
You also get shocked like every 30 seconds, but
It was more like every 2 seconds. Don't really know how they expected him to actually do the test when they were shocking him like mad.
well, I don't know. So he tells Jamie to do the same thing, and I guess Jamie catches on. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that's a good plan, Doctor."
Yeah, so they do that, and before long, Rallo. Is it Rallo or Rago?
It's Rago.
Yeah, Rago, who's the leader, and Toba is his second in command. Rago is like, well, you guys are really dumb. Just leave. We're not going to use you as slaves because you're too dumb. So just stay out of our way. Toba wants to kill them, but they can't because, again, they bring up the plot point where they're running out of energy. It would take more energy to kill them than to just let them go.
Yeah, and the Doctor convinces the Dominators that there's two types of Dulcians on the planet. The dumb ones, the Doctor and Jamie, and the smart ones, people who made the weapons. And the Dominators believe them, for whatever reason.
No reason not to, really.
I guess, yeah. Anyway, so Cully and Zoe have tried to convince the Council of the Robots, and they don't believe him.
And that's when we find out Cully is actually an untrustworthy con artist who doesn't want to take over his dad's position, so he just started a bunch of sketch businesses like his illegal travel company.
Basically.
And to be honest, I kind of like that they the Dulcians did fit under the whole entire species on a given planet is exactly the same and stuff, which kind of breaks the illusion. They do that in a lot of serials, but I like how they introduced other facets of their society, like the people who like illegally went to the island, and then we have the government and the scientific workers and stuff like that. I don't know, it made the entire setting feel more believable, I guess.
Yeah.
Than the usual, like, oh, entire planet is inhabited by killer species or whatever that just is out to get everyone or something. I don't know.
The best part of this was how you find out that Cully's dad, the council leader, knows about his illegal operations and just decides not to pursue them because if anyone found out his son was doing illegal things, they'd probably kick him off the council.
Yeah. Good job, Senex.
But anyway.
Security, great politician. And I mean that seriously because you have to be
Nepotism.
underhanded.
So Jamie, Cully and Zoe decide to go back to the island. I guess
Because they're not getting anywhere.
Yeah. So they're like, okay.
Meanwhile, the Dominators have captured everyone at the base to use for slave labor.
And the Doctor and Jamie have been sent back to the capital at the same time as Cully and Zoe are coming back to the island. And in a humorous piece of dialogue, Cully tells Zoe, like, we could be passing your doctor friend and Jamie right now in another spaceship, and we wouldn't even know.
And they're like, nah, that couldn't be, but yep, it is. So Cully and Zoe get back to the base, and then the Dominators blow the base up while they're in it. They die.
Zoe, one serial companion.
No, they don't die.
Joins the likes of Katarina and Sarah Kingdom.
Brett Vian. Don't forget Brett Vian. He wasn't a companion. No. No, they don't die, obviously. They survive, but no, the base actually does get blown up, and what do they do then?
Well, that's how episode 2 ends.
Oh, right.
And then episode 3 begins with Rago telling Toba to stop wasting energy in blowing up random buildings. Because they're running out of energy.
And Toba's like, oh, all right. Oh, yeah, I wanted to also mention that Zoe's actress,
Wendy Padbury.
Yeah, Wendy Padbury, is pretty good, because like her screams were pretty realistic.
Yeah.
Compared to like other screams we've heard so far.
Victoria. I was going to make a mention about how the acting in the serial was pretty good, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Rago was especially pretty good, especially near the end, I thought.
Yeah.
Really captured that no-nonsense villain thing.
Who saves the Doctor a lot due to their low energy. So what happens next? Oh, right. So the Doctor and Jamie get to the council, and they tell them that Cully and Zoe have just gone back to the island. And they're like, wait, what?
Senex is like, oh, Cully was telling the truth for once, wasn't he?
The Doctor and Jamie were like, yep, he was.
So they have to go back to the island to rescue everyone. And they take one of the ships, and they don't want to. I think they don't want to land at the base because the Dominators have just blown it up, and they kind of know where it is. So the Doctor needs to pilot it somewhere else, but all the ships are self-piloting. God, I can't talk today. So the Doctor decides to mess around and hardwire the ship a little bit.
My favorite scene of the episode right there.
Yeah, I like the part where... So he opens the control panel and he's like messing around with this mess of wires, right? And it cuts to something else, I forget what, and then it cuts back and the Doctor is like ankle deep inside the control panel.
He's upside down, crawling in the control panel. You can only see his feet.
And Jamie's like, are you sure this is working?
And then the Doctor's like, give me a hand out of here, Jamie.
I guess it does work.
Yeah, they just land in the middle of nowhere, I guess. Yeah. Actually, they land somewhere that I wanted to bring up later as a plot point, but we'll get there when it becomes a point.
Really? That was a plot point? I didn't...
Yeah. I'll tell you in a second when we get there. It was in episode 5.
Huh.
4.
Was it like some subtle thing? I don't remember
this
this at all. Okay.
So, anyway, they land in the middle of nowhere, I guess. And...
Meanwhile, everyone else has been sent to a work camp. Not to actually do any work, but just to see if they're suitable as slaves. So the Dominators have them move rocks from one pile to another, I guess, is what they're doing.
Yeah, from that war museum thing.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I guess they're moving the rubble away from the museum they blew up.
Oh, I made a note. One of them dropped a rock when they were, ran out of energy. And they kind of fell over, and then the quark comes over and is like, keep working, and he's like, I can't. And then the quark just kind of kicks the rock while it's walking. And I was like, wow.
Maybe we should discuss the quark designs. Well, not designs, but discuss the quarks now.
Okay.
I don't know. Because we kind of glossed over them. They're robots, but they're like the Daleks in the sense that they're not very mobile.
Yeah, they have 2 legs, but they're very short, and
they're slow, and they don't have arms.
Well, they do have arms.
But they're not traditional arms.
They fold into the body and then fold out and pew pew.
Yeah, how they recharge is they unfold their arms and fold them repeatedly. It looks like they're hugging themselves.
Hey, the quark's pretty cute.
Yeah, they
compared to the other enemies we get on this show.
Yeah, and it's due to their voices too, because unlike the other robot voices we've heard on this show, their voices are... I don't even know how to describe them, but they're more cute, I guess.
And really high-pitched and hard to imitate.
And hard to understand, yep. This serial follows the tradition of having someone who's hard to understand. Yeah, hard to understand.
They were understandable enough.
Yeah, they were. There were a few instances where I was like, what are you even saying, Quark? Yeah.
So episode 3 ends with... this convoluted plan where Zoe pretends to be done, Cully runs off, gets a gun, tries to shoot a quark, but Jamie interrupts him. So Zoe gets captured with the rest of them, and they leave, and the quarks surround the base, and Jamie blows one of them up with the gun.
Yep.
And then the building gets destroyed.
Yeah, Toba orders one of the quarks to destroy the building after Jamie shoots the quark. And so begins Jamie's massacre of people during this serial, and the Doctors too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, compared to the Doctor, Jamie wasn't even close.
Yeah, but he over time, his was over time. The Doctor's was just all at once, 10 people dead. Yes, really. So episode 4 starts with the same thing as usual. And Rago, I guess, orders Toba to stop again because he's wasting more power. And he just doesn't seem to be getting the message. So Rago orders him to continue drilling wherever they need to be drilling. We don't know why they're drilling. It's kind of interesting. Not very pressing until the end.
Anyway, Cully and Jamie found this underground base that the captives were talking about earlier. They're discussing.
Makes sense that it would be there since they were testing bombs and stuff. But I mean, they could have just used fridges. That would have protected them.
Yeah, a lead-lined fridge. I don't think they put people in these tests. I think they just wanted to test if the radiation would seep into a bunker.
Probably. Still should have used fridges. Anyway.
Create these just projectile weapons with fridges and atomic bombs. Just launch fridges using atomic bombs.
Why not?
What?
So the air vent is blocked. And they need to... in the bunker thing. So they need to unblock that. So I guess they use a ladder to unblock it. I couldn't tell what they were using, to be honest. It was some sort of extended object. I thought it was a ladder. Not really sure. But they do that. You know, come to think of it, why was that even a plot point? Just to waste 2 minutes of the episode because it was too short?
Nah, for suspense. Jamie could have died, the air vent was blocked. And
they were in there for like half a minute.
They didn't unblock the air vent, they unblocked the vent to climb out because they kept trying to climb out and it was blocked.
Oh, right.
So they unblocked it with the ladder so they could get out.
Which begs the question, if they couldn't unblock the rubble with their bare hands, why would a ladder aid them in doing so?
Well, I guess because when they were trying to unblock it with their hands, they were on a ladder, so they couldn't get as much pushing
leverage.
Force. Plus, with the ladder, they could both push on the ladder at the same time.
I guess, yeah. All right, that makes sense. So what even happened?
They...
Oh, right, the Doctor and Zoe get taken to the Dominator ship. And,
the Doctor gets captured again.
And Rago is like, I told you to stay away from us. And he's like, well, I have been. But the quarks are everywhere. I just can't seem to stay away from them. And he's like, well, fine. And then the Doctor casually mentions the transportation ship that'll get them to the Senate. And Rago's like, I need to use that to reveal my plans to the enemy because I'm a villain and I need to do that. So he asks the Doctor to tell him how to use it. But he gets distracted first, doesn't he? By Toba blowing up more stuff, I think.
Toba, the ultimate demolition man.
Right, I think Rago gets called away because Jamie and Cully have escaped, and now they're killing off quarks with rocks.
Yeah, they drop a boulder on one of them.
Right, what they do is, it's the classic lure someone somewhere, drop boulder, right? But when Jamie's the bait, and Cully is the one pushing the boulder, and when Jamie tells Cully to push the boulder over to destroy the quark, he's like, now, Cully! Like, he only pushes the boulder over 20 seconds later, or like, something like that. I mean, I don't know.
But anyway, the boulder destroys the quark.
We attributed these to Jamie. Well,
no, we didn't give that one
to Jamie. Attributed the one before to Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie kills ones later.
So yeah, Toba is now trying to kill them, and so that's why Rago gets sent off, I guess. And so he leaves the Doctor and Zoe in their ship, I guess because he thinks they're too dumb to do anything with it. But they're not.
Yeah, they try to figure out why the Dominators are drilling on the planet.
Yeah, they can't really figure it out. And I kind of wish they brought up this discussion earlier, because they've been drilling before, so I think it would have made sense to have them bring up, why are they drilling earlier? Because it was only touched upon now, so I felt it could have been a lot more suspenseful if they set that up earlier. Then again, it might have felt drawn out and needlessly played out if they had set it up earlier, but I don't know.
It worked well how it did.
It worked well. It could have worked slightly better, in my opinion. I don't know. It could have had a little more tension, possibly. But yeah, they're trying to figure it out, and they can't, and they don't yet.
Yeah.
Which was nice because you don't want to just have like an info dump right when they bring up the thing.
Well, that's okay because the Doctor just figures it out willy-nilly later anyway.
Yeah.
But the Doctor tells... They come back, and the Doctor ends up telling them where the spaceship is. And so they go to the spaceship, and this is where I wanted to bring it up, because it looked like, after they looked at the spaceship, I guess it was Toba, walked over to the people who were, like, taking the rubble away from the museum, and I was like, wait, how did they just not know the spaceship was there already if it was right next to the museum? Plus, how did the Doctor escape the ship when it was right next to the museum?
Was it right there? Maybe, I don't know, because I didn't notice that, so maybe it was like a scene transition or something. I don't know.
Guess.
And Toba and Rallo did kind of look pretty similar.
Maybe I missed a scene transition.
I don't know. I just didn't notice that, so... But maybe it was right there. Who knows? Maybe they just didn't notice it. Well, yeah, maybe... Now might be a good time to mention that most of this was filmed on location.
Yeah,
because
some island.
Yeah, or some beach or something.
Probably just a beach.
Which was nice because I don't think they could have done sets as good as this.
The council room
sets,
was a set.
And
because you could tell it was a painted backdrop outside the council room. Not that that was important.
I didn't notice that, actually.
Oh.
And yeah, the base, obviously. But, yeah, so Rago goes to the Senate room, and they're discussing what to do about the Dominators. And they're, based on dialogue, you can kind of tell they're coming to the conclusion that since they're pacifists, they're just going to kind of leave them be. Because they're not really doing anything other than drilling, and the Dulcians don't really care. And then Rago shows up, and he's like, yo, he doesn't tell them that they're going to be enslaved, right? Because I think at that point, he's already decided that he's going to kill everyone.
No, he doesn't decide to kill them all till episode 5.
No, he does tell them they're gonna become slaves.
And then Tensa is like, whoa, we must go through the official discussion procedure. Now, if you'll please sit down. And then Rago just has him killed.
Yep.
And then he's like, I don't want to repeat that, so you all are going to listen now. You're going to be slaves. And come back to you.
He says he only respects superior power. I don't know, I like that line. Yeah, then he leaves. He goes back to the island.
And then they kill Balon because they're trying to figure out where Jamie and Cully are because they're just killing off quarks.
And Rago is like, I'm going to just kill someone periodically until you tell me where Cully and Jamie are. And then he just kills Balon right then and there without giving them any time.
And then he's like, Doctor, you're next.
I mean, what if
Wait, this was Toba. This is Toba, because the Doctor gets saved again when Rago shows up.
Tells him
like,
to stop
killing people.
Toba's just not getting the message. He's just a homicidal maniac. Yeah, but I mean, what if someone was about to tell him where... They didn't know what Jamie and Cully were doing. They didn't know where they were. They knew what they were doing. But what if someone was about to tell him or make something up? He didn't give them time. He just killed Balon. Anyway. Yeah. Whatever.
There was a scene somewhere where Rago gets real up on Toba and is like, it's not unusual for mutineers to be killed, Toba. And he's like, Quark, restrain him. And then Toba, I guess, admits. That was like earlier, and he still ends up killing people and blowing stuff up, so... Guess it didn't really have that much of an effect.
I think that was right at the beginning of 5.
Or was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Might have been.
Which is convenient, because that's where we are in our pseudo-summary thing.
Well, he still continues blowing things up later anyway, so it didn't have much of an effect on him.
I think it's because he thinks he can somehow undermine Rago's authority, which doesn't work.
Unsurprisingly, he is just the navigator.
Oh, was he? Was that mentioned before?
It was Navigator Toba.
Alright, cool. So, yeah,
They take the people to go, go move more rocks.
Yeah, for some reason.
And they escape into the bunker with Jamie and Cully, and now they're all together, and they're trying to think of a plan. Like, why are they drilling?
Meanwhile, the doctors piece together why they're drilling somehow. I don't really know how he did it, but he figured out their plan exactly, so good on him. Apparently they're drilling 5 holes, four in the corners of a square, and then 1 in the center.
Yeah.
And apparently they're going to do they were what were they dropping in the 4? They're dropping bombs.
It turns out the thing in the spaceship that held all the radioactivity that they originally assumed was an atomic engine, the Doctor and Zoe. The Doctor figures out it's just kind of a carrying case for all the radiation, and they're going to drop it down to the molten magma of the planet and detonate it, which will cause the radioactive magma to crack through the crust and flood the entire planet, allowing the fleet to refuel.
Yep, super convoluted plan. Then again, it almost succeeds. So, they were dropping. I thought they were dropping bombs or something like that into the 4 holes, and they were dropping the super atomic bomb into the center hole or something. Well, I know they were doing that latter thing, but yeah. So they're now that they know their plan, they have no idea how to stop it because they're in the bunker and they just literally have no way of stopping their plan.
Well, that's what you think until 10 seconds later when Jamie's like, I've got a plan.
And the Doctor's like, no, Jamie, this is no time for your plans. And Jamie's like, no, just listen. We can just drill a hole through the side of this bunker.
No, dig a hole.
Dig a hole, whatever.
That's key.
Diggy hole, no. Dig a hole through the side of the bunker into the shaft where they're going to drop the bomb and just catch the bomb as they drop it, which is a great plan, actually.
No, so I wrote down that I liked the Doctor's subtle, underhanded jabs at Jamie. Like, where he's like, the plan was so simple, only you could have thought of it, Jamie. And he's like, yeah, hey.
So, they decide that's what they're going to do, and they need to, but they need to dig a hole through the steel walls of the bunker. And the Doctor's like, well, leave that to my sonic screwdriver, and which I guess doubles as a laser.
Yeah.
It reminded me of episode 1 where they use the lightsabers to get through the doors or the floor or whatever it was.
Anyway, Jamie's like, we're not going to get through this wall with your sonic screwdriver, Doctor. And he's like, just hang on, it's more than a screwdriver, Jamie.
Yeah, and
then they somehow dig this 10-foot long tunnel.
Now that I think about it, they probably could have just used the screwdriver to dig the tunnel in, like, way less time than it took them to use their bare hands to do so. I mean, if it can cut through metal, it can cut through soil. Presumably. But yeah. Meanwhile, they need a distraction because Toba is still drilling. So they're like, hey, Toba's been pretty quick to stop drilling and disobey Rago. Why don't we just create these bombs, using these chemicals we conveniently have to create a distraction.
It's a survival kit. Yeah, I like how the Doctor then demonstrates one by going, now you just put one of these number 9 tablets into these tubes, okay? And then make sure you throw it before 10 seconds, because otherwise you're gonna... And then right at that moment, Zoe's like, Doctor, it's been 8 seconds! And he's like, oh! And he chucks it off to the side and it blows up.
Yep. Oh, we forgot to mention all the explosions that have been happening throughout this serial. Well, we did mention the base and everything blowing up, but this serial had a lot more explosions, like with the guns firing off and what's to come with the bombs. The explosion budget or the effects budget in general was just really high.
I liked it, though. Yeah, every time the quarks missed, there was just this...
Yeah.
Next to Jamie or Cully while they were running away.
Season 6, their budget went up a lot, I guess.
Well, if it continues, I'm excited.
Explosions make a show good? No, I don't know.
No, but a higher budget does.
I guess. I mean, that's kind of sad to say, but yeah. I mean, yeah, actually. Visual-wise, of course.
Well, you can spend more on getting the shots you want, and you can do more reshoots to get it, get it right. And also you can do more rewrites of scripts to make them better, so you don't end up with, like, Fury from the Deep.
But But yeah, so Jamie and Cully are sent out yet again to kill quarks, and they do so with their bombs. They kill a
go
bunch
on
of
a
quarks.
murderous rampage.
Yep. And Toba is about to go pursue them, but then he's like, wait, no, they're just trying to distract me again. So he keeps drilling. They're like, darn it, it's not working.
And then Ralgo's like, yeah, don't worry, Toba, they're just all gonna die when we blow up the planet anyway. We don't need them anymore.
So yeah, Toba, I guess, in the end, falls in line, doesn't go against Rago. Fortunately, would have been kind of nice to see.
And then Jamie attacks the drilling site and blows it up. And
Wait.
Yeah. Because he throws a bomb at the drill.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was that quark that we thought was dead, but then in the next scene, the doctor's like, oh, the quark's back up and drilling, guys.
Yeah, okay.
And they drill in the base, the underground bunker, they dig like a 10-foot long tunnel in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. They're taking turns. I mean, no. Still, though.
No, well, then Jamie goes in to finish it off, and the doctor's like, how close are we, Jamie? And he's like, the tunnel keeps caving in on me. And I was like, wait, how are you not dead yet, then?
Yeah. But the Dominators finish their, the bomb and the tunnel. Meanwhile, the Doctor and everyone has finished their tunnel. So the Doctor goes in to catch the bomb, and he does. And he saves the day.
Yeah, there's this really tense moment where they drop the bomb, and the Doctor's in there, and he's like, Doctor, have you caught it? And it's like, dun, 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 dun. Then he comes out and is like, I've got it.
But then we find out that the bomb is sealed, and there's no way to detonate it, and that apparently
Defuse it.
Defuse it. Yeah, they definitely want to detonate the bomb now. No, there's no way to defuse it, and the Dominators are going to remote detonate it once they've left the planet. So they have like 5 minutes to go get rid of this bomb. So the Doctor decides to run out of the bunker, run all the way to the Dominator's ship, sneak up on them as they're entering the ship, and just casually place the bomb right inside the ship as the doors close.
And then they fly away, and then Ralgo's like, stop the countdown! And Toba's like, it's too late! And then you just see the ship blow up! Yeah, when he said there was a way to get it off the planet quickly, I thought he was going to just take it in the TARDIS and just dump it, like, in space or something. But no! He's just going to go detonate the Dominator spaceship!
No, I thought he was going to take it in the TARDIS for, like, 1 second, and then I was like, you know what? No, he's going to put it on their ship, isn't he? And then he did.
That was so dark, though.
It was.
He just kills off 10 people. Well, 8 quarks, and then Ralgo and Toba.
Yeah. Yeah. So before getting rid of the bomb, they, I guess, say their goodbyes to all the Dulcians because they tell them to get off the island as quickly as possible because there's still going to be a volcanic eruption due to the 4 bombs that they released into the other holes.
Yep.
So, yeah, in the end, it ends with the Doctor being like, yep, all in a day's work for me. And, he's just like, well, I guess the Dulcians are going to have to deal with that volcanic eruption on the island, but that shouldn't be too big of a problem. And then Jamie's like, but we're on the island, Doctor. And he's just like, oh my god! And that's where it ends.
It ends with scenes of lava flow over the credits.
It ends on such a lighthearted note after the Doctor just killed a bunch of people.
In my head, I justified him killing all those people as well, if he didn't kill all those people, a whole lot more people would die.
Yeah, that goes against his, do you want to sacrifice one person to save a bunch of other people that was set up at some point?
Well, I guess he just kind of weighed the options, and he only came up with that one, and not just like, let's just take it in the TARDIS and drop it in space, you know?
I guess.
But I guess since he doesn't really have control over the TARDIS, he might have taken it to another inhabited planet and blown that up, and then that would have been bad too. So I guess he saw the only option as giving it to the Dominators.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, taking it in the TARDIS would have been a worse idea because of, like, you know, what you said, they might have taken it. They don't know where they would have taken it, and also they don't know when it's going to blow up. They need to get rid of it really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the start of season 6. Pretty solid serial. Not the most interesting, like I was saying, in my opinion, could have had more tension if they had gone another route with it, possibly. I'm not really sure on that.
Pretty good, though.
Yeah, pretty good. And if the rest of season 6 is at least this quality or better, I'll be pleased with it. And definitely if they don't keep on rehashing this a bunch of times like they did in season 5, that they're
Well, season 5, they didn't rehash the storyline till the 3rd serial because the first one was Tomb of the Cybermen.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe next week they rehash Base Under Siege again.
I hope not.
Season 6, Return of the Base Under Siege.
Yeah, I really hope not. To be honest, I wouldn't mind Base Under Siege, like, for one serial per season or something like that. They could go other routes with it and have it be interesting, like they proved in Wheel in Space, but, like, not every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't really have much... I didn't have much criticisms for this serial. No, I mean, nor did I have much praise, but really there wasn't anything wrong with it, in my opinion, at all.
Yeah, I mean, the only criticism I'd have is the skipping over the Zoe thing.
Yeah. I mean, all the characters did a lot.
Yeah.
So that was good. And, yeah, the race of the week, the aliens of the week, I guess, were pretty interesting. They had, the side characters did enough. And yeah, overall, just a pretty good storyline, too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the whole Zoe thing, as well as the why are they drilling subplot, may have been edited out, because apparently Derek Sherwin edited this story down from a 6-part story into a 5-part story. So it's possible they may have cut some of those things out in the editing stage.
Yeah, I think it worked as 5, though.
It didn't feel like it was slow at any moment. Like, I wasn't sitting there watching it going, oh gosh, this is all filler.
Then again, it wasn't a reconstruction, so maybe that adds to it. But
even if it's still a reconstruction, you can tell when there's filler content and when it's not filler content.
Yeah. And honestly, if they had gone with the original 6-episode storyline, it might have felt drawn out. Well, no, it probably would have felt drawn out, because if all they had to edit down was the whole... the Zoe getting written out thing, but that wouldn't have taken that long. If all they had to edit out was the whole expansion on why are they drilling thing, that I don't think it won a full new episode for something like that would have justified it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good how it was, and it was subtle, but like subtle's not always bad. In fact, it's usually good. If you can get away with having something be subtle, then why flat out just have it shown? I don't know what I'm saying, but
why have it be flat out explained and then have to sit through
exactly
like 3 episodes of them knowing what's happening and just trying to figure out how to stop it and not just figuring out what it is in addition to having to stop it.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, costumes wise.
Yeah, actually, I was about to say I made a note about mentioning costumes in this serial specifically because
they were weird.
They were
even
weird,
for this
but
show.
The interesting thing was that the Dulcians' costumes were like all predominantly white, whereas the Dominators was predominantly black, and I thought that was interesting. Kind of that opposing
racism,
that opposing like
allegory.
Black is a black color is usually evil and white is usually like pure. Speaking solely from like a color perspective. Just black is made up of all the other colors, whereas white isn't.
The Dulcians' costumes were like gray though at times.
Well, like gray, white.
Like the main Dulcian, Cully's was all white, but I don't know. The Dulcians' costumes were pretty weird. Like they looked almost Greek. Sort of. They were like skirts or whatever. Even the guys wore skirts, and
so Jamie wasn't out of place.
And like the torso part of their costume, like it jutted out more. I don't know how to explain it without actually showing it, but
it looked like they were. It may have looked.
It looked like a lampshade.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looked like they had like columns taped on their chest.
That too, but I mean, it looked like an upside-down lampshade almost.
Yeah.
Females was almost the same, but they had that weird neck thing.
Yeah, the females didn't have the upside-down lampshade. They had a dress and they had this neck thing, which was... It, like, went around their neck, and then there was a space, and then they had shoulder straps. It was really weird.
Yeah. Dominator... For the Dominators costumes, I couldn't tell whether that the I hate to say this, but the paper mache looking stuff was supposed to be clothes or like them, because you could see their human, obviously not human, but like their actors' human hands. So I wasn't sure.
I thought those were like the sleeves. They were like frilly sleeves.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure. They probably were, because otherwise they probably would have done more to cover up their hands. Stuff and faces. But yeah, the quarks, we kind of already explained them. They had a weird design on their heads, I guess. The circle things.
The spheres with crystals sticking out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not very mobile, as we said before, so yeah. Way less menacing than the Daleks, but kind of similar in ways.
Oh yeah, there was this... Speaking of the quarks, there was a scene in episode 5 where it was funny that they felt the need to explain why they had absolutely terrible aim. Where Toba's like, why are you missing? Like, too low of energy for accurate shots.
I thought they said target too far away for accurate shots.
Well, they said too little energy and target too far away to make accurate shots. And I was like, haha.
All right. Saved Jamie and Cully's skins, so... Yeah. I think that's all there is to say about this. There's not usually much to say when a serial is just like when it's just a solid serial, when it's not super terrible or super good.
Well, as Zoe's first serial, I'm looking forward to seeing the Zoe-Jamie Doctor dynamic play out.
Yeah.
It was fun in this episode.
Honestly, I'm kind of dreading when Jamie leaves. Not dreading it, but I know it's coming soon, so I'm like, is this gonna be it? Is this gonna be the serial where
Is this it?
I'm glad it wasn't this, because that would have sucked.
Nah, he probably won't leave at least until after Zoe's been established.
I'm not gonna assume anything character development-wise on this show anymore. They've let me down too many times.
Email us at thedoctor@decorativevegetable.com. Once again, no emails this week, but if you have, I don't know, if you're looking forward to season 6, or if you have comments on our super long spliced together super episode that'll be going out this week, email us about that too. That would be great.
Yep.
And check us out on iTunes at Trust Your Doctor, and check out the website, decorativevegetable.com.
Check out our Facebook page, Trust Your Doctor. Interesting facts about the serial we watched that week, and we'll have our YouTube channel up soon, probably.
Yeah.
So check that out. Like we said, we haven't planned it out. Probably shouldn't be bringing that up again, but
well, I know we'll probably be uploading all the old audio episodes on YouTube as well, but just with a picture as the background, and occasionally we'll have video episodes like we're doing for the intro episode.
Yeah. So yeah, be sure to check that out when it gets up. And next week we continue on with season 6 with the Mind Robber. Until then, the end.